Would you like a review on this book? On this book. That was my bookmark. I will remember where that bookmark was because I read this book every day. That's enough of a review on this book, isn't it? So I love my books. I've got some books. I love books. Books in the morning. I have a gratitude practice, and books are always the thing that makes me feel most grateful. So I'm grateful for my books every morning. I love the fact that a book can completely change your perspective. It can be life shifting. This book I read every day, and is it my favorite book? No, maybe it's up there for sure. So that is my review on this book. Goodbye. No, I'm joking. I read this book every day between the time I wake up and the time I start working. So because we need to work, don't we? We need to be working towards some sort of goal in our life to be fulfilled. I believe that anyway, and it's pretty well documented that goal striving is a key mechanism in fulfillment, in the art of being fulfilled, the war of art of being fulfilled. And why don't we put everything we have into our goals? And you might do. If you do, well done. I'm proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself. But generally speaking, most of us don't put everything that we have within ourselves available into our goals. Why is that? Stephen Pressfield says this is because of resistance. Resistance is the reason why we don't put everything we have available into the striving toward our goals. And I feel this, and we all feel this. It would be a miracle if you didn't feel this. I feel this as a quite intense tension inside of myself. It's a real feeling. I've over the past year or so I've become a lot more in touch with my feelings, and just feeling what's going on in my body. Letting Go by David Hawkins is an amazing book for that if you are interested in delving into that a bit more, thinking into that world, which is the world that we are already sunk into. So it's best that we understand it, isn't it? Because emotions are life. Emotions are going to, they're the most prevalent force in your world, unless you are very, very present and enlightened, which you may be. So fair enough. Back to the book. I read this every day. Before I read this, I feel really big resistance toward my day's work. I'm putting the pressure on myself to achieve things in a day, and this pressure is a sneaky form of resistance, what Stephen Pressfield calls resistance. Every single thought you have prior to your work, prior to stepping into the field and actually sitting down and working, generally is a little bout of resistance. I don't know why does the human psyche do this? Why? Why? It just does. So I guess the question why is redundant, because it's happening anyway. But what this book does, just to put it simply, if you're looking for a review on this book, what this book does is it debunks this feeling, these little distractions that, not so much distractions, these little impulses that pull us further away from completing our goals, completing our work, and thus striving toward our goals, and thus becoming fulfilled, thus living a good life, thus being happy. This book debunks that. whenever I read this and I read it out loud, I find that's quite powerful, because I don't know, I guess I haven't really thought into this quite like deeply yet, but I guess just off the top of my head, it seems like almost I can tap into almost him speaking to me. Stephen Pressfield's words, because he's quite a poetic writer. In fact, probably one of the most poetic non-fiction books I've ever read. So you really get the force of the message if you read it out loud, and also reading out loud will increase your articulation, which is something I'm always looking to improve. Because we speak, that's how we communicate as human beings, isn't it? We communicate in many ways, but speaking is our like sort of go-to. And yeah, the more I feel like if I read this out loud for 10-20 minutes, it really increases my effectiveness in terms of my tone, and yeah, just the way, just my like how good I feel while talking. So if that's something you struggle with, then try reading out loud as well. But if you don't struggle with that, try it anyway, and be careful with it, because there's a tendency to not focus on the actual words. So make sure you're reading, like actually reading the words as well, mentally, as well as verbally just speaking them. But yeah, I can't rate this book highly enough. I read it every day, put it that way. And I would invite you to also do the same if you're creative, or if you struggle with resistance, that feeling that blocks you from taking action toward your goals, or your just your work, no matter what that is, even if it's just studying or whatever. If you struggle with that, read it. And yeah, I would invite you to read it every day, just 10-20 minutes of it. Don't have to put the pressure on yourself to be a star human being and read hours. Just get the message in, because once you read this once over, then when you go back to it, you already know the message, so the words are just powerful and they're just there. But yeah, one of the best 10-11 quids I've ever spent, for sure. Very valuable. Recommend it.